2. So I had a pen in the middle of the conversation where I was like, I want to ask a question, but I didn't want to. I wanted to ask it once I knew I didn't have the answer, right? So you were talking about just having that courage to move forward for yourself versus just like, you know, I'm definitely defensive of those who I love too, but having that fire underneath you is important. I'm currently even considering what I'm doing with my personal life a lot, and it made me think about what's something that you wish you would have learned in order to implement these things, or maybe something else in your life. Maybe you wanted to know Taekwondo or something that would have helped you out. Like, what's something that you wish? You see what I'm saying? Like, you see these hands and you learn these boundaries.
Wait, so right? I can't go too much in detail, but I definitely.
So, like, what you wish you would have learned that maybe in your journey that could have been something that you appreciated growing up, or maybe it's just something you still want to learn in the future. You don't even got to be in the past. It could be maybe the future too.
Definitely in the past to properly like process my emotions and my like feelings and how like.
So that goes to say that you weren't then.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure.
If I'm gonna take a piece of humble pie and eat some humble pie real quick.
Oh no.
Like I was like not the best person like with my emotions at times. Like it was more so like I think it was just because like now being self-aware of myself, now knowing I am empathic and not really being aware of that back then, I felt like a lot of the times like if people were mad at me, it was because of something that I did, or if I just felt like that energy and I felt anger or felt frustration, I would be like, what did I do? It's me. Yeah. And I would like go back to those people and be like, just tell me why. And like
they sip soda.
Fast, they're like, excuse me, Courage.
Or it's like maybe you're not even absorbing exactly what they need from you because you're already exasperating and you're upset, so you can't be very effective listening.
Exactly, and it's like now my energy's up here on top of the energy that I'm accepting too, and not even realizing it. It's like I feel like if I had a better like awareness of that, and I focused on that more like for myself, I feel like it wouldn't be as hard like now as an adult, because like I do still have that issue sometimes, but now at this point I'm an adult.
You're just self-aware and gotta be fully responsible with that shit.
Exactly. It's like now I'm an adult, now I'm grown, now at this point I'm like learning, now I'm learning, like I'm in that process to take a beat for myself. Whereas like, cause it doesn't just affect my personal life now, like it affects my business too. Cause like, you know, like my real name is Kabreen. Yeah. That's the name my mother gave me. So Courage is my artist name. It's actually Creole. It's spelled Kouraj. It's actually Creole, so it's probably pronounced Kouraj. So that's probably why sometimes you hear people say Kouraj.
I do. I be like,
okay. Like I'm sorry, it's Courage.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
But all right.
But yeah, it's actually. Yeah, but no, it's okay. Still do that because my artist name is Courage. It's like a play on words. Right. Like purposely make people like look it up and be like, why does she spell it like that? Because you know, let's face it, Creole is not a very known language. So you know that's why I did that, and it's to have these two lives blend sometimes and realize like. You can only like separate those two for so long. Like at the end of the day, you're still gonna react to certain things the same way. You're still going to feel certain types of ways about that. So like when I started my career as Courage, it really made me have to sit down and look at myself and be like, okay, I need to get this in check. I don't know how, but I'm gonna figure it out. And I do wish sometimes like there'd be times like if I had learned this when I was 16,
somebody would have just taught me. That's why I asked that question, because I know we all like confront that at some point. I know for me, something that I wish someone would have put me on with when I was young was how much, like I was super good at school. I was getting straight A's and B's and stuff. I was in like the college prep classes, you know, SAT, you know, career stuff, yada yada. And I just kind of, I would be so, they call that too smart for your own good. Mm-hmm. I would have the average and the analytical projection of my grade for the rest of the year by the first 9 weeks. Like I would have had the homework assignments. Yeah, I had the homework assignments. I do 3 of those out of 6. I bang out 80s on 2 tests. I don't even gotta show up for these ones,
That must
and
be
then
nice.
do all the classwork, and I'm gonna knock this D out real quick. Like,
yeah, that must
you know what I mean?
Nice.
I mean, it was
that
too.
wasn't me.
Yeah, I was just, but it's like I really wish I would have took that more seriously. Like, I'm looking at scholarships like, oh, they pay for those at the military. I don't need scholarship. Like, I don't really want to go to school. I just was so, I just casualized it. So that's, I never shared that. I ask everybody this. But I've never told this part. It's like, yeah, I was college, like, I was in college prep classes since 6th grade. Like, that was supposed to be my future. I was supposed to go to college.
Fun facts about Mr. Terrence Harris here.
So, I wanted to ask for your opinion, because what would be, like, I think sometimes the part that hurts me the most about the relationships that I make is that people be getting mad at me. That shit, like, you talking about, like, inheriting that frustration, like, I'll mess up sometimes, and, like, the consequence of maybe, like, rejection or being lateness and all those things are normally the consequence of your action, right? You lose the opportunity, or, you know, something, your food's cold, like, you know what I'm saying? The consequence comes with the action, but for some reason people be having this tendency of, like, laying an extra sheet of guilt on top of that shit. And I don't really be appreciating that. So it's like, I'm already late, and then you be like, I mean, we already knew you were gonna be late. It'd be like, I don't need that. I don't be needing that, really. Like, I'm already consequenced by my lateness.
Stop, like,
you know what I'm saying?
But I think that,
and I know for sometimes people are just casually bantering, or like just, you know, creating, you know, what they would maybe qualify as conversation, right?
Right.
But for me, you effing with me right now, right?
Facts. It's like the energy you feel behind what they said.
And that was very lighthearted. Sometimes, you know, people are very direct about their frustrations or dissatisfactions, and you just gotta deal with that. But what do you, like, am I being too sensitive? Like, I don't be knowing how to always handle, like, I'll be like, you're being mean, and because I'll be asking people, I'll be in a conversation, I'll be like, is there a way that you could convey what you're saying, like, nicer? Like, I'll ask people, and sometimes people won't really give me that respect. So am I asking maybe for too much, or is that, like, this is an opinion, you ain't a therapist.
I was gonna say, no, it's strictly, I was making that face because it's like, I deal with the same, like, battle consistently. I'll beat myself up way more than someone else will beat me up. But that's something I also realized too, that could also be that extra layer of guilt that we feel as people sometimes. Yeah. Because, like, if you really, like, pay attention, like, to the energy sometimes, and, like, someone else, like, Sheen actually, like, told me this, like, because we were talking about being empathic and stuff, and I was like, man, like, sometimes you can even feel, like, behind a text message or a phone call sometimes, that energy or the intention behind how they really said it, where, like, people can be like this, oh, you're so nice. But you can literally feel
with that what I felt it just now.
Exactly, like, oh, you're so nice. Like, so you literally felt me thinking about the person I was talking about. Putting that in mind. So it's like, that's real. So it's like, I think in those moments, you gotta remember for yourself, like, you can't be so hard on yourself. Especially if, like, it's not in your control.
They don't know what I did last summer.
Exactly. And they don't know how you're, and also, like, people don't know how you internalize things either. So a lot of the times, like, they just need to get that out for themselves. But at the same time, I personally feel like there's still nothing wrong with you being like, listen, like, is there a way you can say that nicer, because that's what people ask of you.
Or even just being a little, even if you're being a little awkward, it's like, you were a little awkward, all right. If my response is a little awkward, that's not.
I'm like, oh, I was awkward.
Yeah,
awkward. Like, I'm one of those people that will kind of.
I'll get into it. I will make it right.
And it's like, but I think that's also like a defense mechanism, if you want me to be honest. Yeah. So it's like a defense mechanism because we feel everything, and we're not sure if it's us that we feel or someone else that we feel. So we just like,
no, it's not over here. Get the shit out of here.
Nope, I don't want to deal. Bye.
Okay, so I'm happy I asked that because you helped me get some clarity. It's like it's very situational based. You gotta just be maintaining your self-awareness in all these situations.
I was about to say because cancers, like, we really have to do that because it's like, that is what we're going to pick up first. Yeah. We're going to pick up energy before we pick up.
I don't even be comprehending what anyone's saying sometimes. I'll say that to them. I'll be like, I don't know what you said because of how you sound.
Exactly.
It won't even process.
It's not
like,
even to be disrespectful.
I'm not even trying to be
just
disrespectful. It's just the way you said that. It did not make no sense to me. Like, cause the way my head heard that, I am angry and like it angered me. So I'm like, I know I don't need to do that. So can you just please repeat that? Like, I was like, yo, I did not understand that, John. Like,
Stop,
okay,
really.
so you're right. It's. I'm happy you are relating to me because I'm thinking that that's something that isn't relatable. But now that I know,
it is.
I feel more comfortable now.
But that's why it's just like always like that's something that I had to learn too. And like in all reality, like Kate taught me that. Like she always like don't be afraid like to say to anybody like yo like I just didn't like the way you said it. It's definitely earned me
a lot more respect.
Whereas,
absolutely.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, how you feel is important, and that's in any transaction of a word contract. You know what I mean? Like whenever you exchange words with someone, how that energy is received is just as important as the energy that you're giving out, because that can control. Because say I know for me, if I'm like, hi, how are you? How you doing? And I get a sup, I'm like sup. My energy go right. My energy matches yours like that, because it's like I ain't gonna be putting myself all the way out there. And then you be giving me your behind the kiss, and then here I go with my little cancer behind, like, I was just trying to be nice. I was just trying to.
First, it's ashy, like, you got to kiss the ass.
I was just like, damn, I was just trying to be nice. Like, I realized, like, for myself, is protecting our own energy is a really, really, really big factor into that, especially when you have no choice but to deal with a whole bunch of different energy.
Oh yeah,
like for
that's
example,
that's our job, that's our career. We're musicians, we're entertainers, we're artists. Yeah.
So I'll go from my 9 to 5. Like I'll do my 9 to 5. I'll come straight here, or I'll come straight to another show, and I'm like I don't have that real big difference to like switch from one big group of energy to another big group of energy,
totally different communities,
and I have to completely switch over, and like so. Having my own center and having my own energy protected is very important in that, because then I can just step into the bathroom and be like, all right, cool. This is my moment. That's why it's like, I'm only realizing this myself. Like, I don't give advice that I don't try to like apply into my own life. So it's like, I feel like that even is still a lesson that I'm learning for myself too, to protect your own energy.
You just got that new gig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had read that, John. You just got the new gig. Shouts out to the giggery.
Giggery.
Yeah, man. So my next question, I put these questions right behind each other because I feel like I'm gonna start accounting my interviewing skills to my empathy, because I be knowing where these questions are gonna go when I form them, and that's why I segue and I form them like this. So my next question that I ask in the middle of my interviews is, what are you currently watching, right? Like, what are you entertaining yourself with? What brings you relief? Because we talked about such large topics and such important things about ourselves. I want to bring people in on just a relatable basis, just something light, you know what I mean? Something universally relatable. Like, what do you do for relief? Do you read a book? You listen to music? You watch TV? Like, what are you doing to just give yourself some solace?
I actually love to color.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually love to color.
I love new answers. Yeah, no one said that one yet. I love when you got new answers.
Like, I love buying, like, the adult coloring books and, like, just coloring.
So markers or crayons or all like, just whatever, like, image you have, you'll start
Seriously, sometimes I'll go from, like, I'll be like, I want a marker border with color pencils. Like, no, I want color pencil with
Is there any technique behind that, though, or is it just completely, like, imagination?
I feel like for me, it's imagination. Like, I feel like, because I get, like, the paper, because I used to free draw, too, but I actually haven't done that in, like since middle school, actually. So, middle school into high school, I kind of just switched to just coloring, because I started focusing more on music, because that was just my bigger passion. And it's like, when I color, it's kind of just like, I feel blue, so let's go with blue. Okay, I'm over blue. I feel orange. So let's just go. So I kind of just go with like the energy in that moment, because I actually notice like I color a lot like when I'm really stressed and like really going through a lot of stuff. Like I'll just
only physical, or you got them coloring books on the phone too? Yeah, word. Shouts out to technology.
Color my numbers. Yeah,
I
do. Not anymore. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do the physical color, but now, because it's like it's still a phone. You know what I mean? So
it's not the same.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like separate from my phone a little bit. But But I actually like just got done watching the series You on Netflix. Like I like that series. I only recommend it for screenwriting purposes because it's an amazing storyline. But it has probably like one of the most toxic love stories I've ever saw in my whole life. But the casting's amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sitting there like, but like if I'm not watching that, like I'm a big Grey's Anatomy fan. Like
I know somebody who, because that show still has new episodes, right? So oh wow, for real, I did not see that one coming.
It's the last season of Grey's Anatomy.
Wow.
Wait, just give me a moment.
I didn't expect that either.
I know, right? They just released the article. It was like, it's the last thing. But I've actually noticed I haven't like really watched TV, but like that. Honestly, I play my piano. Honestly, because like I'm a part of the Altruistic Vision band as well. Is like, but I also like play my piano. I color. I do play video games. I am definitely a gamer girl. So it's like if I have a chance to like sit down and be on the joysticks for a couple hours, oh yeah, Betty White. Okay. Betty White. But that's about it.
My sister used to color in coloring books. She was probably like still like 20 years old, right? So like I used to steal her coloring books. Cause you know when you see somebody doing something cool, you a kid. I know I was a kid, so I'm like, man, shit, that shit look cool. Mom. I just want to do it, right? It's probably 2 or 3 things my sister used to be really, really mad at me about. It was her shoes, her food, and them books, yo. Mm-hmm. Like, yo. Mm-hmm. And I remember, but the reason why I admired it so much is because, that's why I asked you that question, because she had this really crazy technique. And well, I was 10, so it seemed crazy at the time, but now I'm older, it's not crazy, right? You know when you darken your outlines with a color pencil or a crayon, and then you lightly shade inside? That shit was physics to me at the time.
Yeah, that's
I was like,
the marker. I traced like the borders.
The depth, the coloration.
She made 3D.
Yo, I'm like, this is crazy. So I was like, I wanted to do it too, and I was able to do it. And she like, do that shit on your own time, on your own paper,
get your own coloring.
Yeah, like, I'm not mad at you doing it, but you need to do that shit somewhere else.
Stop. That's me with my brother. I'm like, I'm sorry. Why do you have my coloring book? I wanted to color too, so let's go to the store and get you one. Yeah. Don't color it mine.
I ain't get it back then. I was just like, this B word. Oh yeah, she ain't.
I guess I do have a tech. I always start from the back of the book.
Oh, and that's the part, boy, like, if you have little brothers, go confront them, because when we see what you just said, we say, you don't like that, you don't want this. You basically say, I can have all these middle pages then, right? Because you only like these 4.
Stop. That just reminded me of this one.
That's my logic here.
Where my brother, right? Like, because I used to have my coloring pages like just sitting out on my desk in my room. I had to be like 15, and my brother's like 4 years younger than me or something. And he would take my coloring pages to purposely annoy me. Right. I hope you're watching.
He was a little bit more cognitive, right? He knew what you were doing.
I mean, he's a Sagittarius, so you know.
I was still like 7.
So he would be like upset with me or something, and I would be like, Jay, do you have my coloring pages? Do you have my coloring books? He'd be like, no. Right. I'm like, where are my coloring pages? And he's like, I don't know. Facts. And then like he'll give me but then my book would randomly just magically appear like a few hours later, and it would have like pages in the middle missing, and I'm like,
damn.
That's how you feel?
Right, that's vengeance.
That's how you feel, Jay?
Yeah, really
that's how you feel, bro? He'd be like, well, I told